Now on view at the Portland Art Museum, Paul McCartney Photographs, 1963 through 64, Eyes of the Storm, is an unprecedented exhibition that reveals extraordinary photographs taken by the beloved musical icon. Featuring recently rediscovered photos from Paul McCartney's personal archive, more than 250 pictures invite visitors to intimately experience the Beatles' meteoric rise from British sensation to international stardom. Curated by MPL and the National Portrait Gallery in London. Tickets and information at portlandartmuseum.org. Celebrate the best of our city's plant-based dining scene this Sunday at Circle V Portland. It's an all-inclusive walk-around tasting event featuring 10 chef collaborations from top vegan restaurants. So chefs from spots like Boxcar Pizza and Mama Doot, they'll be working together creating mashup dishes. Plus, there's going to be 14 beverage makers, even one of those giant grazing tables full of snacks. And the whole thing is a benefit for the nonprofits Growing Gardens and Urban Gleaners. It's all happening at Castaway Portland on September 22nd. Get your tickets today at circlevportland.com.
Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about how our city is finally scoring a WNBA team, mayoral candidate Carmen Rubio's latest car-related infraction, and updates to stories including Mayor Ted Wheeler's chief of staff resigning after it came out that he directed $60,000 in taxpayer money to a city art project. Joining me on this Friday News Roundup are KBOO News Director Althea Billings and our very own executive producer, John Notarianni. It's Friday, September 20th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Welcome, everyone, to the Friday News Roundup. Althea, John, thank you for hanging out with me this morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
I was looking through our feed, and this is the first Friday Roundup I've hosted in a month.
Oh my gosh, you've been so busy.
I've been gone in a month, John. This is why I don't know what's happening, ever, any day.
There's going to be an election. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Althea, you were actually the last guest I had.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, a month ago, you were here. You're here now. This is, what a thrill.
I know, it's like we both shut down, and then we woke up, and John lived a whole life, and we're just like, hey, John, what's up? No.
Crazy. What else do you get up to?
Oh, man. Well, for all of our new listeners, today is the day we break down some of the biggest local stories of the week with some of the best and brightest journalists in town. But before we jump in, I usually ask an opening question so our listeners can get to know our guests just a little bit better. And this week's question is actually related to an event that CityCast Portland will be participating in. This Sunday is the final Sunday Parkways of the year. And this time it's in Southwest Portland by Gabriel Park. I think that's Multnomah Village. If you're not familiar with Sunday Parkways, that's when the city of Portland shuts down a good chunk of a major street, sometimes the entire intersection, and encourages everyone to come down, walk, bike, while looking at community vendor booths or stickers. It's super cute. And so, of course, this leads us all to our opening question. If you could shut down any Portland street, which one would it be, and what would you do there?
I've had a minute to think about this, and I think I've come up with the perfect answer. I would shut down the Hawthorne Bridge and the Morrison Bridge. Then I would get like a giant barge and put it out in the river and have a giant concert on the Willamette River. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like local music. Like, we're going to go big. This is like our Beyonce shot, right? Mm-hmm. Just have her on the river, and then we'll all just sort of ring around on the bridges and the sides of the river.
Dude, that's crazy. Do you want to know which one mine was? I'm sorry. I usually let the guest go first, but this is crazy. John and I didn't talk about this.
Oh, are you doing the same thing?
I would love to shut down the Burnside Bridge.
Oh!
So we have a fun street fair that connects to downtown, you know? Mm-hmm. Food, drinks, bands playing, dance parties, activities for kids. It would also just be so cool to walk over downtown from the east side for like half a day. And like, it would promote downtown, especially if you can like walk down there with a beer. But I'm also just thinking like, hey, they're going to shut down Burnside Bridge. What if we like give it this like party? Like, we're going to have to practice not driving on it. What if like all of us just went on there, had a wonderful time? We could give away free food and like drink tickets to anyone who volunteers before and after to clean up surrounding areas. Civic engagement.
Love it. I love it. I'm in.
Right?
I'm coming to your bridge party.
I'm going to your bridge party.
Hey.
I'm going to shut down a bridge too.
Hey.
What are you shutting down?
No, I like the Burnside idea. I walk that occasionally when because I work on the east side and sometimes there's people downtown that I got to go talk to. I think my first instinct when you said what street could you shut down, I was like, shut down Sandy. But it's like, why? I didn't come up with a good reason why. I would just throw sort of anybody trying to get in that direction into chaos. What's another good bridge?
Out of malicious intent.
Just malicious. I don't even know that you'd want to. I mean, it'd be hard to get there if you can't get on Sandy. Yeah, I don't know what I would want to shut down. But I'm shutting down Sandy. Yeah.
You're just shutting down Sandy.
Yeah.
No reason. No one can drive on Sandy.
No.
Trying to get to Northeast, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Everybody's on 84 now.
So evil. John and I are here trying to plan these major city functions, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck everyone.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
true.
yours is a better idea. Whatever. Suddenly all ideas have to be good.
Not on this podcast. We've proven that time and time again.
Oh, man. All right. Well, on to the news of the week. I think everyone knows exactly who we each are now. So this week, Althea, I'm actually going to go first. I know we usually always have our very special guest on first, but we actually have Senator Ron Wyden. He's kicking things off because he called in Wednesday when it was announced that Portland would be home to the newest WNBA franchise team, which has been in the work for years. And so Senator Ron Wyden has been at the forefront drumming up support and getting people together around this venture. So you might remember that last year we almost secured a team, but at the very last minute, like days before or something, the announcement, a billionaire tech who was supposed to buy it pulled it out, and sources say is because he was having arguments already with the WNBA.
Boo.
Because I guess the organization has just a lot of they have a big say on everything, including the name. And he was just really like, I want this name, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, bud. And he was just like, forget it. So lucky for us.
What was the name? Do we know?
It was Rose City Royalty.
Kick him out. We'd rather not have a team than call it that.
But I did like that the WNBA was just like, we don't like the connotation of what, royalty? That we're kings and queens? But anyhow, but there was also some other financial stuff where he needed to let go of some investments. And he didn't want to because it would be considered ethically ambiguous,
Billionaire stuff. Love it.
Yeah, billionaire stuff. Anyhow, but lucky for us, the same family that very recently bought the Thorns from Merritt Paulson stepped in and bought us our WNBA team, Lisa Bethal Mirage and her brother Alex Bethal. And so starting in 2026, we're going to have another Portland team to root for. And here's what Senator Wyden had to say about it. He called us from a car, by the way.
Hey, this is Ron.
Hey, Senator Wyden. Thanks so much for taking the time to call in.
Great. Glad to do it. A big day for our account.
Yeah. Well, you've been pulling for Portland to get a WNBA team for years now. I mean, I remember when you hosted WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert last year to pitch her on the idea. Could you explain to our listeners why this has been such a huge priority for you?
Well, I went to school on a basketball scholarship, dreaming of playing in the NBA. It's a ridiculous idea because at 6'4", I was too small, and I made up for it by being pretty slow. And I've just always been a fan, and, I just love seeing the enthusiasm for women's sports across the state. And I used the example today in my talk about I have town meetings in every county, every year, and I talked about all the young people, who are kind of playmaking in Portland and rebounding in Roseburg and hooping in Hermiston and dribbling in Dundee. It's so inspiring to see them all playing all over the state. Young women dreaming of playing at the U of O and Oregon State and making W someday.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to put in too many of the details since right now we're celebrating, but I'm curious, what has to happen between now and 2026 when the team is set to begin playing?
Well, obviously, we're still working on the name, and I made the point that, in rooms all over Oregon now, break rooms and classrooms
That's
and
true.
locker rooms, and everybody's talking about what's the name, and everybody's got their favorite, choice. The press was asking questions about some of the issues relating to practice, facility, and obviously the commissioner and and the Bethal family is working that through. But, we've been working on those kinds of issues since things didn't go as well on the previous kind of effort, and that was in the letter the commissioner sent to me. And so I'm very confident that the commissioner and the family and all of those concerned are going to have that together.
Gotcha. So we're not at the short list for coaches yet, is what I'm hearing.
My sense is, and the family talked a little bit about that, those are all the issues that they pick up on now. And I can tell you they're putting in some long, hours. Lisa, I had lunch with the family today, such a wonderful family. And of course, they have already roots in the NBA. And I think it's a really good fit. And, Lisa was talking about juggling, soccer stuff already, really early hour this morning.
Well, let's play some fantasy basketball. Any players from other teams you would personally want to poach? Like, do you have a wish list?
Well, everybody knows what the dream, list is, and that's Sabrina.
Yeah.
But, the reality is the league is full of good people. And I just think that we're going to be able to draft some amazing, talent. And I think Portland is really a basketball city. People are going to say this is a special place. And, let's face it, everybody's looking for some good economic news. And I described what's it going to be like in the summer of 2026. And, people are going to walk down Broadway and start at Jenny's Sports Bra and go to a basketball game. And next day they're going to go to a soccer game and, have a burger at Goose Hollow. So this is really going to be an exciting place to be. And that makes a big difference in terms of getting good players.
That's right. Well, I know you mentioned that fans are at this moment trying to decide the new team's names and colors, their speculation, and it will be up to the fans is what I'm hearing. But if it were up to you, what would you name them?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. Everybody's got their own choice. I had somebody come up just a few minutes ago and, they wanted Rose City Riveters and, I had to thought of that one. I mean, everybody is going to have ideas. And
but what's yours? Like, if it was just Senator Wyden, it's up to you.
I'm telling you, I made the vote on IVF yesterday, and I raced to the airplane and didn't get much sleep last night, so I haven't been able to think of this because we were getting ready for the program. I just want to give folks across Oregon the chance to be heard. I made mention of the fact I've had almost 1,100 town hall meetings, open to all.
Wow.
Everybody can give their opinion, and I want to let everybody have a chance to weigh in. And let's give you a little prediction. It took the Blazers 7 years to win an NBA title. I can tell your listeners, I bet it's not going to take that long to get a WNBA title. That's my prediction.
Wow. Well, I remember when we had Jenny Nguyen from the Sports Bra, she made a strong case for the Tridents, Portland Tridents.
Well, Jenny, I have just enormous respect for Jenny. And, that's where we had the meeting that made the big difference in February of 2023 at the Sports Bra, when the commissioner walked out there and said she'd never seen anything like it. I mean, the Sports Bra is just an amazing place, and I love the energy and the creativity Jenny's brought to it. And so if Jenny's weighing in on something, I'll definitely take a look at it. But I'm just a big supporter of all the good work she's doing.
Well, Senator Wyden, thank you so much for calling in. Congratulations. I know this was something you've been working on for years. And without your enthusiasm and your support, I don't think we'd be here, honestly. So we appreciate all that you've been doing to make this a reality for our town.
Well, this came about today because of the wave of grassroots enthusiasm that we have shown. It didn't happen by osmosis. Look, this was a competitive thing. There are other cities and everybody trying to box out and, get their own position. And I'm just so excited that this is what we do best, is come together, find common ground. This is a signature Portland example of teamwork.
Well, thank you again, Senator Wyden.
Hey, thanks for being interested. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again. Bye.
I mean, this is awesome, right? This is like the best thing that's happened in a really long time. We actually came up with an idea for something big that we wanted to do as a city, and it's going to happen. That's so great.
I feel like framing it that way is going to jinx it, John.
I'm just like, yeah.
John is happy and optimistic, and now I feel insecure about the future.
Now it's not going to happen. It's a good idea. We can't do it.
Oh, no.
I thought for sure you were going to ask the question of the day was going to be, what do you think we should name the Portland WNBA team?
Yeah, but I'm glad you asked me, Althea, because what would you name the team?
I came up with a few different ideas.
Okay, let's go.
I'd love to run them by you. Rip City, Natalie Imbruglia's Torn. Kind of a pun.
Wait. That's the whole name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Rip City,
Welcome to
Natalie?
the arena. Natalie Imbruglia's Torn. Well, they'd have to get the rights to the song, I think.
But that's a cover, so you'd have to get it clear twice.
Yeah. But it'd be worth it.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Then I was thinking about, bridges. What can we work off of iconic Portland stuff? Bridge trolls. But then I was like, maybe that's people maybe don't like that. Bridge burners, troubled water. That feels like a little too vague.
Troubled water.
Yeah. And then I was like, what are the people who are like guard a bridge, like the night watch? But that also sounds like, somebody with a flashlight. So then I was like, what is something that's really ferocious? That's very Portland. So what about the Portland raccoons that were terrorizing Northwest 23rd last year?
That is scary. Because we didn't know if they had rabies or not. And no one's going to want to touch the team. Everyone's going to be like, but did they have rabies? Have we decided that they have rabies, or are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. So, what's so funny is that I had a bridge one too, and it was a discussion I had with Jenny Nguyen from Sports Bra, and she was like, she's really 100% behind Portland Trident, like, like the Portlandia Trident, which I get, but I think it's too close to gum. I wanted Portland Bad Bridges because
I like
one,
Bad Bridges.
amazing pun, and two, just imagine like a twerking bridge because it's a bad bridge. You know what I mean? Big ass eyelashes.
It's also, not an inept description of some of our infrastructure.
I know. And it's just all twerking. And then what's great is every game you don't know which bridge is going to come out. And you're like, oh no, it's the Morrison. You know what I mean? And it's a bad bridge. Buddy, yaddy, 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 yaddy. I think it'd be so cool, the bad bridges. Anyhow. John, what about you?
So last time I was asked to come up with sports teams names on this show, I was caught flat-footed when I was asked about baseball teams.
The Puddles was his name.
I was thinking the Portland Mud Puddles for baseball team, which I still think is cute. But I'm actually going off Bill Oram at the Oregonian had some really great ideas in an article, and one of them struck me particularly, which is the Portland Bloom. Because, okay, it can be like the Portland bloom, like flowers, like yay. But it can also be like the Portland algae bloom. Like it's going to like cover everything and like suffocate you with like defensive coverage.
John,
So I'm going for the Portland bloom.
the moment you said bloom, I wanted to sneeze. I know you just recovered from a sneeze attack like 2 minutes ago. We cut it out. You almost died. But like when you say bloom, my allergies start like, So that is a little like intimidating for sure.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to cover someone when you can't stop sneezing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Portland bloom. I also let's just go for it. What about the Portland quake?
Oh, just lean into it.
Yeah, just
Portland
lean
quake.
into it.
The big one.
Cascadia subduction zone.
The Portland.
Too long?
The Portland, the big one.
The Portland, the big one.
Portland, the big one. All right. Well, anyhow, it's clear that this is the stage that all of Portland is at. Is we're just excited to name a team.
Yeah.
That our billionaire fairy godmother and godfather bought us. So
Thank
I'm
you.
thank you,
You have to say thank you.
John. Say thank you.
Say thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Bethal. That's really creepy.
Well, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, more headlines of the week.
Your business deploys AI pilots everywhere. But are they going anywhere? Or are they stuck in silos, exhausting resources, unable to scale? Maybe you don't need hundreds of AI pilots, you need a holistic strategy. IBM has 65,000 consultants with Gen AI expertise who can help you design, integrate, and optimize AI solutions. So you're not just deploying AI, you're scaling it across your business. Learn more at ibm.com/consulting. IBM. Let's create.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV Insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV Insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
All right, Althea, what do you have for us this week?
You remember City Commissioner Carmen Rubio, don't you?
I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's running for mayor, and wouldn't you know, she has so many parking tickets, but it doesn't end there. The Oregonian has a headline out this week. Portland mayoral hopeful Carmen Rubio dogged by driving record, damages parked Tesla, then walks away. Tesla surveils everybody that comes near the car, I guess.
This is what I learned from this story, is that there's a lot of cameras on a Tesla.
So, you know, in a parking spot, scrape the bumper and the wheel rim of a Tesla. The video shows her like checking to see, and then I guess deciding that she didn't, and then walking away. And then, you know, whoever owned the Tesla came back. Oregonian disclosed they're from Clackamas County, and they're a self-described liberal Democrat. And they left a note on Rubio's car, and within 45 minutes, they got a text from her saying, you know, I'm so sorry, let's exchange insurance information. You know, I wasn't sure, I didn't think I saw anything, but I'm like happy to do that with you. They ended up on phone calls, and then, you know, the Tesla owner did decide to go to the Oregonian about it. There was a call recording that some of it is relayed in the article. It was kind of sad, to be honest. Yeah, ding to Tesla on your way into an appointment. Right after all of this info about her 6 license suspensions over the last 20 years and 150 parking tickets and citations, get her off the road. I guess that's my takeaway.
Oh, such a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the most ironic thing that could possibly happen for someone happened, and I actually felt bad. Like I felt sorry for her. I was like, oh, buddy. But also like, why did you walk away? And also, everyone knows Teslas record everything.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that either. I do now.
This is why you need to be on TikTok, y'all. It's like half of the TikTok videos are just Tesla recordings.
This is so fucking annoying. Like, what is the word I want to say here? This is sad because we're coming up against a really important election. It could be a pivotal election in Portland, you know, electing a new mayor and a new city council. And I think it's just important to reiterate that, like, the thing we should be voting about mayors on is based on policies, is based on experience, is based on, like, what we think they are able to do in terms of their ability to lead and understand the complexities of government. And, like, this whole series of stories is just completely taking the attention away from that, you know, and sort of, like, focusing on this one very real, but, like, to my mind, kind of a side thing about Rubio's driving record. That said, I don't feel like we can ignore it. You know, I don't think that this is something that we can just be like, it's not news. It's not a story. I mean, it's a real thing. And, like, it is going to be one of the first things that a lot of people know about Rubio.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. For 20 years, Rubio has been in public service, meaning that her job has been driving literally all around the Portland Metro and going to meetings. That's her life for 20 years. And I know this because I know people in similar roles, and that's all they do. And you want to know how many freaking parking tickets they have? Because all those meetings go over. And I'm not saying she shouldn't have paid. I'm just like, I get it. Because I think for us, especially people who work from home, you're like, how do you get 150 parking tickets? And I'm like, if you're driving 6 hours or 20 hours a week, yeah, you're going to be getting some parking tickets, especially when they're like meeting related. I get that. What I don't get though is like scratching up a car and walking away. And I hear what you're saying, John, but I think what other people are feeling are like, it's a character flaw at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think she's wonderful. Like, she built the Latino network out of nothing, you know? Like, she is good at what she does, but like, wow. And also, it's pretty sad to hear just her side of things because she does feel like she's being, what's the word that she used? Exploited for her position. Because there's another conversation where the person whose car was dinged up kind of went in on her a little hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are not the people who should be, basically went in like on her and her character, which I thought was a little like, that could be, if that is all true, again, this is now Carmen's side from being reported. I think it's a KGW. It all feels messy and, like John said, like a distraction, you know?
But I do want to sort of agree with you that like the reason that I say we can't ignore this is because I don't even know that I would go to character, but I think that something that we do need of a mayor is someone who knows how to not step in it.
Yeah.
Is someone who knows how to see that, like, right over there is like 1 million landmines and I should not go drive through that field. And it's, you know.
Literally.
Carmen is going to go right through and not leave a note. Yeah. But the thing is that Gonzalez also has had his license suspended. He's been caught speeding. He got caught evading fare in the max. Like, it just seems like where we're at now, the level of discourse, I'm not excited about.
I agree with what you guys are saying, but I will say, you know, there's plenty of things that you could criticize Rubio about of substantive on a policy level.
Yeah.
This is a fixable problem, which is take an Uber, take the max, pay your staff to do it. Apparently you can have them do whatever you want with city dollars. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's an easy fix. Just stop being the one behind the wheel. Get somebody to do it for you. Yeah. But also, you know, Tesla, we hate that company. So maybe it was based. The apartheid mobile, she scraped that thing up? Okay.
The apartheid mobile.
It would have been better if it was a Cybertruck. But.
Yeah, a 2022 Tesla versus a 2017 Nissan Murano is just like the saddest.
I know.
The Tesla wins again. Really?
Oh, can I tell you two of my favorite comments that? Because of course, like when this happened, I went straight to Reddit and I was like, "What are the people saying?" You know, someone wrote, "At this point, I'm convinced she's the cause of all the random dings in my car." I just love that thought that someone's just like, "That was probably Rubio." And the other has suggested, I think, a really good, campaign sticker for Rubio, which is, I did this, Rubio stickers for all the dents in people's cars. And it's just Rubio.
Wait, this is a campaign sticker for Rubio?
Yeah. Turn it around.
Interesting reverse psychology play there.
I did this, Rubio.
No. Okay, here's what it is. It's that, but then she needs to take like a 6-week course on like car detailing and perfecting those things. So she got the weird vacuum thing where she can suck dents out. She's coming around with a little paintbrush to do touch-ups. I did it, but I'll fix it.
This is like her next campaign event is her just like buffing.
Yeah.
buffing Teslas. I mean, these are all jokes. But ultimately, I feel like the only article that I read of substance was from the Willamette, where I saw someone just being like, "Hey, what does Rubio stand for?" And I was like, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about people's policies and platforms and like what they're going to do to the city. That's what I want to hear, because I don't want people voting on like on the number of tickets somebody has. That feels inconsequential.
I mean, I totally agree. And like the line that I highlighted in this story was, the Tesla owner's caller ID indicated a person who responded was Carmen Rubio, a name with which she was unfamiliar, so she Googled it. And I think that as a lot of people are Googling candidates in the next couple weeks, it's unfortunate that these are going to be the first stories that come up.
Yeah. I'm just going to ask, do you think this is the end of her campaign? Like, do you think people are just like, we're done with Carmen Rubio?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to say. Like, for those of us who've been following this the whole way through, like, it's a different conversation than people who are just jumping in. And, like, I think that she could make a sort of splashy pivot on this and rebound from it. But it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't help.
I'm a little just disheartened with how everything is going.
The next story will make you feel better.
Yay! As they always do. All right. Well, let's take another break here. And when we return, John has some updates to a few stories we've reported on in the past few weeks.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Introducing our biggest GMC Acadia ever. Offering bigger screens, bigger views, and even bigger journeys. Live your biggest life in the all-new GMC Acadia.
Okay, John, what are you looking at this week?
Yeah, mayoral candidates abound with interesting headlines. Renee Gonzalez is one of the other front runners in this race for mayor. You probably remember last month, we talked about this story of Gonzalez using $6,400 of public money to clean up his Wikipedia page. Well, the city auditor's office decided to look into it, issued findings this week of no violation of the law, but Chief Deputy Auditor Reed Broderson wrote, quote, "The auditor's office concludes that this is an exceedingly close call and that they're forwarding the case to the Oregon Secretary of State for further investigation."
Yeah.
So squeaking by the skin of his teeth on this one. I will say the actual city auditor, Simone Reddy, has recused herself from campaign finance oversight stuff because she is also running for re-election.
It's interesting because the Oregonian doesn't necessarily describe it in the same way. I looked at a Portland Mercury article on this as well, and they were saying that there was some mixed evidence that the auditor's office found and that investigators were still waiting on more records from Gonzalez's office, whereas the Oregonian article is saying Gonzalez's office cooperated completely. With a close call, if we're calling it a close call, like, I don't know, what do they do in baseball? Don't they review the tapes and send it to Cooperstown or whatever? We need help on this.
But in the law, what they do is say, we don't know, and send it to another office.
Right. Well, and the Oregonian article does highlight that, one of the core things that Gonzalez wanted changed about his Wikipedia page was this reference that he had praised a Patriot Prayer member in a tweet. And he did do that. And he just wanted that not on there anymore. Something that I was thinking about is, why didn't he just apologize and disavow Patriot Prayer? I feel like that would put a button on things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Instead, this editing controversy is now prominent on his Wikipedia page forevermore.
Yeah. Along with him trying to change it.
Yeah. Well, not to be outdone, we should probably bring the current administration into this as well. Bobby Lee, mayor's chief of staff, we talked about him as well last month about a very Portland controversy, I think, about him directing $60,000 in city funding to a pet project, which was art depicting a Chinese water tiger. I guess he'd grown really fond of this symbol. It became clear through some emails that were received. This was not sort of a normal process of approving this thing. He was pretty forceful in asking that this public art be approved. Well, just this past week, it was announced that Lee is resigning to take care of his elderly parents in South Korea. His last day is going to be the 30th of this month, even though the mayor's term, of course, ends at the end of the year. There isn't any evidence that this resignation is directly tied to this controversy over the funding for the water tiger. But yeah, Bobby Lee is on his way out.
My immediate thought, well, Wheeler was saying nice things about him, which is good. My immediate connection was, well, didn't Sam Adams also say that he was stepping down? And turns out he was in the process of getting fired. Not saying that's what's happening here, but, I guess the pattern maybe we should recognize is that if you're leaving city office, you say oh, I'm resigning. It's for my health. I'm going to the coast, or I'm going to do whatever. And then it comes out. It's oh, that's not what was happening.
Yeah.
I'm sure Shane Dixon Kavanaugh and or Nigel J. Quist will get to the bottom of this. And we'll also find out how many tickets Bobby Lee racked up while he was in office.
Yeah. And one other story, Live Nation. There's been a lot of heat about this proposed Live Nation venue on the Central East Side. A lot of organization against this. Music Portland specifically is a group that has been putting a lot of pressure against approving a deal for Live Nation to operate this new venue. The issue is that Live Nation operates in a lot of cities, and they've been accused of lots of monopolistic practices. I mean, there's actually U.S. Department of Justice investigations into some of these companies' practices, and a lot of people in the independent music scene don't want this venue to be built in Portland. Well, as of Wednesday of this week, the city's Economic Development Agency approved the purchase and sale of the land to the group that is working with Live Nation to eventually build this new concert venue. Now, the sale isn't going to go through until after Thursday. Music Portland is actually bringing a challenge to the permits that had been issued for this development. So that's going to be happening in between now when we tape on Thursday morning and when this gets to all of our listeners on Friday morning. But there has been one more giant hurdle in the approval of that sale to a Live Nation venue coming to Portland.
If all the independent music people say that it's bad, and also the U.S. Department of Justice is on the same page, not necessarily the most common bedfellows, maybe they're onto something. Also, I think that the space that they've picked out for it is a terrible idea.
Why is that?
It's like right under exit 300 on I-5, like Water Avenue in Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to get down there when it's an empty lot and there's nothing going on. It's going to be a damn nightmare. You're going to back up 3 highways if you have even a little bit of traffic going on. And there's the trains, to say nothing of the trains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and that is part of the challenge that Music Portland is bringing to the venue. I mean, some of it is on permits and part of it is about exactly that situation on parking and traffic and the trains and all of that as well.
Yeah. I just know this is upsetting so many people who passionately care about not having this behemoth in our city. So I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out. Well, thanks for the updates, John. It's weird leaving for so long and coming back into local politics and just being it feels a little bit like, I don't know if you guys remember that meme. It's Community of Troy. He goes out for a pizza and he comes back in and the entire room is on fire. That's what it feels like a little. I just came back and I'm hey guys, I brought some pizza, and everyone was just and I was that man was gone for 5 minutes,
There's a smoldering fire in that room when you left. It's just the flames had grown slightly higher. Yeah.
I thought somebody would take care of it.
That was your first mistake.
Well, John, Althea, thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning, going through some of the headlines of the week. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And if you have the time, come over to our booth on Sunday at Sundry Parkways in Southwest Portland. We will all be there. All of CityCast Portland will be there in shifts. Maybe not Althea, but
I don't know.
But you're welcome.
You're welcome to take a shift, Althea.
Come on by. Come hang out. Pass out some stickers.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our executive producer is John Notarianni. Our producers this week were Julia Fiaioni, Elizabeth Kama, and Adam Sage. Our Hey Portland newsletter editor is Rachel Monahan, with contributions this week from Natalia Aldana, and our host is me, Claudia Meza. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Drizos. Additional music by Epidemic Sound and All the Kimonos. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.